Course, we are called as believers, not just prophets, but as believers. We are supposed to be emanating, according to 2 Corinthians chapter 2, we're supposed to be emanating the fragrance of God. So we definitely have to make sure, it is imperative that we as prophets, prophetic people, it is our responsibility to make sure that our vessel, our apothecary, is fly free. Yes. So that we will not find ourselves in a predicament where we are uttering or making those declarations from a contaminated place.
In Antioch,
yes,
the text says, and they taught the assembly. Watch this, a whole year. They taught the assembly a whole year. Okay. That was the teaching ministry. 2 chapters later, in chapter 13, that was, it says, and now there were in Antioch apostles and teachers and prophets, etc. And they names, and then of course they consecrated Barnabas and Saul, by the way. But that waiting period was not a wasted period.
Absolutely.
That was the training and those gifts that we see 2 chapters later, whatever time period.
Yes.
Came from those who were teachable, who were the acronym FAT, faithful, available, and teachable.
Can it affect other areas in our life?
Absolutely. It affects, not only does it affect how you show up. So whenever you get stuck in your stuff, you can't move forward. And being stuck in a situation that frustrates you is not going to serve you. So the key to, after you identify the stuff, is deciding whether or not you're going to stay stuck in the stuff. So I could have gotten so bent out of shape about my hair not doing what I thought it should have, could have, would have done, that I said, you know what, Kelly, I can't do the show today because my hair is tripping. Right? And that would have had a ripple effect on you, me, our reputation. We would have robbed the people who are hearing us and supporting this today and needing to hear a word of encouragement and liberation and help, for dealing with their stuff. They wouldn't have gotten it. Why? Because I didn't like the way my hair was. I mean,
come on.
Yeah, you've got to put stuff in the right perspective. Some stuff is not worth sweating over. I love the book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. Because what you realize is that it's all small stuff.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are you doing? Welcome to another conversation with Kelly. I am your host, Kelly Spencer, and you have tuned into this conversation, and I hope you are ready to just have an honest, open, and transparent conversation that is going to be life-changing. This conversation is all going to be off the chain. So do me a favor, click like and share and comment. Holler at me. Tell me who is watching and where you're watching from. I always love to check in with my peeps. And so let me know who's on and again, where you are watching, and I will shout back at you. Today's topic, man, Valentine's Day is around the corner. And as you all know, that's usually the lovers and boyfriend and husband and wives type day. But what happens if you don't really have a significant other? It can be sometimes a little challenging, but I can guarantee you it is going to be a-okay. Why? Because you will learn how to be whole and be content with where you are at this point. Because you could be on hold for the next person that God or the person that God is going to bring in your life. So don't fret, don't worry. Again, just hey, Miss Ramona, thanks for tuning in. But again, don't fret, don't worry. Valentine's Day is just a day to remind yourself, one, to love yourself, and two, most importantly, to honor God and others. All right. So what I want you to do again is like and comment and share, but also subscribe. We have some awesome topics coming down the road. I don't know if you had a chance to see, and I'll post it maybe one day this week, the breaking news when I release the titles for the topics for the year. Is going to be off the chain. Hey, Bishop, how you doing? My mentor from Erie, Pennsylvania. Good to see you always. All right. So today's topic is called Single is a Whole Number. Being single, satisfied. All right. I can relate to being at a period of my life where I thought, what's wrong with me? Everybody's all booed up and coupled up, and what's wrong with me? What am I not doing? But it was really because I was not at the point where I was content in myself. Once I discovered my purpose, what God wanted me to do, as this generation says, it was on and popping. Now, yes, do I desire a future mate and husband? Yes, he's coming. But at this particular point, I am so content to where if I meet a potential interest, and if it's going to be a lot of drama, I push D&D on my phone. Do you know what D&D means? Do not disturb. Don't disturb my peace. Don't disturb my joy. And don't disturb my contentment or my place in God. But these two ladies I have, oh my God, I can't wait for you to meet them. They were on last year. I'm going to bring them in, give them a proper introduction. I actually saw them. They were talking about singles 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And when I tell you last year I had them on, they were fantastic. And I said, you got to come back this time and do a part 2. So my guest today is first Miss Esther Renee.
Hello.
She is a teacher of the gospel, a licensed chemical dependency counselor, and founder of I Model Goodness. And I also have a distinguished guest, Miss Reverend Deborah F. Bell.
Hey, hey, Reverend.
she, she is owner and senior consultant of P3 Coaching. She is a producer and host of It's Real Life podcast. And she is the creative force behind Powerful, like powerful. Over 50, but Powerful Over 50 network, and also a John Maxwell certified trainer. So again, ladies, welcome.
Thank you. Welcome to us, right?
So glad to be with you, Kelly.
Me too.
I'm glad you both said yes. And that you had this day that you could take just for an hour to have this much needed conversation. So again, welcome, ladies. We are not going to keep the audience waiting. We're just going to get into this topic.
Let's go.
Because we want as much time as possible, because it's needed, and it's time. It's past time. So the first conversation, anyone can take the question. Of course, the topic for today is one is a whole number. When did you realize God wanted you to know your worth?
That's a really good conversation, and I don't mind kicking it off. I was real grown. Let me say that. I was not a kid when I kind of came into the truth of who God created me to be. And that's really how I understand that question, understanding my value, because my value is rooted and grounded in who he created me to be. Yes. That means also then that everything that I do now is purposeful because I understand who he created me to be. So I came into understanding my value after being in a marriage for over 20 years. And I remember distinctly, I was in New York with a friend of mine, first trip to New York ever. And it was around my birthday, and it had to be like my 40-something birthday.
Okay.
And I was in the mirror. We were getting dressed to go somewhere, and I said out loud, and my friend was in another room. I said out loud to myself, "Girl, you sure look good." And my friend, just to show you how impactful that was, my friend came running out of the room where she was, and she said, "What did you say?" I said, "Girl, I just said I look good." She said, "You know what? I've known you." Oh, it was probably like 15 or so years at that time. She said, "I've never heard you say that kind of positive thing about yourself."
Wow.
Now I'm in my 40s, but that was the time where I understood all of what God had invested and put in me from creation, and how he made me, and the value that I bring to environments that I'm in. And that's my church environment, my work environment, my family environment. I bring a whole lot to the table, and I'm very proud of that. And I also, what's the word I'm looking for? I cover that. Because I want to always be who God created me to be. I protect it. I want to always be who God created me to be, completely and fully.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that.
Wow.
That is so powerful, because you never know. A person could look good on the outside. They could live good according to the world's viewpoint, the nice car, the nice house, and the nice job. But you never know what they go home to.
That's right.
And you never know what's inside. Because the message that repeated inside was the messages that I heard as a kid. You stupid. You just you got big lips. You just black.
Yeah.
And we carry those negative input, and it has a greater impact than the positive for the most part, until we come into fully who we are. And for me, again, that is who I am in Christ, and that helped me to understand my value.
Wow, Deborah, that's good. I'm gonna tell you something. I was sitting here thinking about it as you were talking. When did I believe? The question was, when did I realize that God wanted me to know my worth? And I remember I was at Walgreens and I met this amazing woman. I didn't know who she was at the time, and I noticed her name, and I said, "Oh, we have the same name." And so every time I would see her after that, I would say, "Hi, I don't know if you remember me, but my name is Renee Wright, and we met at Walgreens." And she's like, "Yeah, I remember you." And then I saw her again. I say, "Hi, I don't know if you remember me, but my name is Renee Wright. I met you at Walgreens." And she said, "Yeah, I remember you." So the third time I saw her, I said, "Hi, my name is Renee Wright. I don't know if you remember me. We met at Walgreens." And she said, "Stop. What is it about you, Renee, that makes you feel like you're not rememberable?"
Wow.
And tears just started rolling down my face.
Wow.
And I realized that I was not invisible, that I am a whole person, that God created me for something. I didn't know what, and I'm still, learning all of the things that God has in store for me. But I realized that, and she said to me, I remember you from the day I met you, right? But there was something inside of me that wouldn't allow me to think that I was worth being remembered.
Yes.
And so since then, I no longer there's something inside me sometimes that wants me to do that, but I know I'm not invisible, and I know that I'm worthy, right? And so I have this thing that when I meet someone and I meet them for a second time, third time, I don't remind them of who I am, because if they don't remember, it's okay. But if they do, it's okay. The person who needs to remember who I am, as God would have it, is me. Because if I can remember what God has put inside of me and who I am, then I can present that as so to other people. And then the light that will shine from me to other people will be a blessing in their lives, and they'll want to know more about me. And if not, it's okay. Because I'm like my favorite uncle tells me all the time, Renee, you have such a large heart. You love deeply. He said, but I want you to remember that you are not everybody's cup of tea. And I said, yeah, I know. I said, but you know what's amazing? I have some beautiful women in my life, like Deborah, like you. And I think about this all the time, how I love your greatness so much that I like the overflow that's coming into the saucer. I might not be in the cup with you, but I am getting the stuff off the saucer to feed into me. So I believe that God has been speaking to me for a while about this worthy thing, and I've been grasping on to it. So
Kelly, can I take that just a step further?
Absolutely.
It's so important for women, men too, to understand their value as it relates to relationship, because that means you won't just accept anything. That means you won't be, what's the word, thirsty.
That
desperate. You won't be desperate to be with somebody. You won't accept somebody talking negatively and down to you or about you, whether it's in an intimate relationship or whether it's a friendship. You won't accept that, because you understand who you are and your value and your worth. And how, again, I got to throw in there how God created you. I think it's so important, because so many people still do.
Well, you know what, Deborah, that's amazing, because I remember when I was married, and I remember thinking how I told my ex that, I cannot little me down or not do what God has called me to do so that you can be okay. Because it can't be, my life can't be diminished just so that you could be comfortable. Sometimes you're going to have to be uncomfortable with who I am, because God created me to be this, and I can't change that because you're uncomfortable with it. So, but there are many people who will.
That's right. I did it for so many years.
I did it too. I did it too. So God said, hey, that ain't what I did for you.
But you know what, the other part is, we don't allow the other person to grow.
Yes.
If we continue to acquiesce to be what we think they think we should be. Did you get that? Because if we're not having the conversation, if we don't broach the subjects, if we don't put our hands up and say, wait a minute, let's talk about that. You know, if we're not doing those things, then we don't give the other party an opportunity to grow beyond where they are.
Absolutely.
And you know that both situations are super important, because if you don't know your value, you will allow anyone to just take a piece of paper and just say, okay, here's your work, and you have to accept it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's not how, you know, God created us with such awesome individual, unique qualities.
Yes.
And just think about the thumbprint. Nobody can be identified, and there have been gazillions of people created on this planet from day one till now.
Absolutely.
Not one duplicate, not one match. Because your thumbprint is so unique, nobody can be identified as you.
Yes.
Which means you have a specific purpose and a specific thing that God created you to be.
And we can't allow other people. And I listen, I'm not even just talking about a male-female relationship, or I'm saying anybody, my friendships, whatever. I can't allow someone else's uncomfortability to stop me from moving my feet in the direction that God would have me to go. Because, you know, the truth of the matter is, I want friendships that are going to be about encouraging, uplifting. Let's talk about, like, I call Deborah and I'll say, hey, I need Coach Deborah today. And she'll give me Coach Deborah. Because if I got to downplay myself for you to be comfortable in my presence or with other people, then I'm in the wrong relationship, whether it be a friendship, a male relationship, or whatever. Even if it's my sister, I can't allow a sibling to be whatever they're going to be to make me feel less than what I am. Because I know God has created me for a purpose. Because my dad said before he died, he said, when I close my eyes, baby, I don't believe that God take you off this earth until you completed the task. He said, so when I close my eyes, I need you to know that I completed the task. And so I can't let you stop me from completing the task.
Yes.
That's good stuff. Kelly, our theme today, you know, one being a singleness, and singlehood offers such a unique opportunity for us to gain self-discovery and growth without the distractions of a relationship. A woman can invest in herself, pursue passions and hobbies and personal development. Being single, we can embrace our independence, which fosters great self-confidence and a strong sense of who we are, our own identity. Laying the foundation for a full and meaningful life and a healthy start for a relationship. We're not healthy in some relationships because we don't know who we are.
That's right.
We haven't done those self-discovery work. We haven't pursued our passions. We don't even know what we're passionate about. I've led workshops with women and asked the question, what do you like?
Yeah.
And y'all remember coming to America? Whatever you
like. Yes,
you know,
yes.
Often,
whatever you like.
Too often when we're asked those simple questions. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go to eat? Oh, it doesn't matter wherever you want to go. No. You know what? Since it's 5 o'clock, let's hit Ruth Chris Steakhouse because they have a wonderful happy hour.
Yes.
Let's go to McCormick and Smith because they have a wonderful happy hour. And then maybe we can go somewhere else for dinner.
Yeah.
You know what,
Debbie, you're right. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
If you've not explored and done anything on your own, how do you know to give those responses?
Yeah. And don't be afraid to give the responses.
Yes.
Because I think that many times we want to downplay what we really like and what we And I think it's because they've given such a bad name to women who are able to ask for what they need and want. And it's been told that you're a gold digger, you this, you over the top, you take you bougie, all that. But it's not about
I am bougie. It's okay though.
I can be bougie too, baby. I ain't got nothing. I ain't even ashamed of that. I like nice things. But let me say this: I don't have to. It's like people are afraid sometimes to show their real selves in relationship to what they like, where they like to go eat, what they like to wear. Don't buy me this, buy that, because of the fear that they're going to be labeled to be something that they're not. But it's okay to know what we want. It's okay to be able to say, I want a good meal. It's okay to, if you ask me what I want for my birthday and then I tell you what I want, and you're looking at me like I'm crazy. Well, don't ask me. Just pay attention, because I will tell you who I am and what I want.
Let me tell you, Psalms 139 is one of my favorite passages, the 13th and 14th verse. For you, O God, formed my parts. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully
made.
And that I know right there. Come on here.
Okay. Let me tell you, that particular scripture right there, when I was going through my divorce, 20, 30. Oh, I don't even know how long ago that was. It's been a minute. It was not until I heard that scripture that I began to see, like, wait a minute, God, you created me with purpose. What is that purpose? And he said, oh, well, I'm glad you finally asked. Okay. And so that's when I began to slowly but surely discover what I am here for.
Yes.
And so though that scripture really spoke life into me, because I tell you, I was a broken, and look, the marriage only lasted a year. You would have thought it was 11, 12, 13,000 years, as deeply as it was, as much pain as I was in. But it was because that's what I thought a woman at the age of 28 would, a house, a husband, 2 children, a dog named Spot, white picket fence, a station wagon, those things, trying to be, measure up to that. That's no.
You know what, too, Kelly? When Deborah talked about the scripture, there's another scripture that is just as bad as 1 Peter 12. No, wait. 1 Peter 2:9, and it doesn't specifically say to a woman or a male. It just says, but you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood. So if you are royal, why can't I go to Ruth Chris? Why can't I go to McCormick? Why can't it says a holy nation, his own special people, that you may proclaim the praises of him who called you out of the darkness. Now, I don't know about nobody else, but God called me out of some darkness, okay? And since he called me out and didn't let me die in that dark space, then I ain't got no business saying that I'm not who he says I am. And many times I lived as if I didn't know. And that's what one of the things me and Deborah talked about yesterday. If we don't know ourselves, when we meet someone, what they gonna get? Are they gonna get the girl who need to go to treatment and or go to therapy and need to iron out some trauma and some disappointments and some low self-esteem, some low security, or is he gonna get that girl that has done the work to be able to become a healthy royal priesthood in the lives of other people?
Yes.
That really speaks to this word wholeness, being made whole. And I remember going through a period of time that was my goal. I'm like, God, I want to be made whole. I don't want to be splintered here, there, and everywhere. I want to be made whole. And happiness as a single woman involves recognizing that completeness comes from within. Kelly, you talked about how those external things were what you looked at, but true happiness has to come from within rather than seeking it externally, embracing your own strength
Yeah.
Identifying your weaknesses. Know what your triggers are. Know your vulnerabilities. These things, knowing these things leads to a deeper understanding of who you are and a more authentic connection with others. We can't be authentic when we don't know who we are.
Well, you can't be authentic if you ain't authentic with you.
Yeah.
Yes, that part.
Look, let me say this too. That is good. I was thinking about, okay, you said one is a whole number. Satisfied. What is it? Single and satisfied. So I was thinking about this word satisfied. And and I talked to Deborah about it, and I was thinking, I don't believe that, because I can't be satisfied if we don't do what Deborah just talked about, right? About anything, because I don't know who I am. I don't know what my triggers are. I don't know what's going to set me off. But when I think about the word satisfied in this context, it's almost like, if you don't really understand it, you'll think, oh, she's just so satisfied being single that it don't even matter whether she get one or not, right? Whether she has somebody in her life or not. And the truth is, I'm satisfied, and Deborah and I were talking about it. I'm satisfied in a way that I'm okay with what God's will is in my life in this area. And I'm asking God to give me the power to live out this, what the reality is at this moment. And thanking him for this time for preparation, which is what Deborah is talking about. In order for me to be prepared for who God has for me, I have to find satisfaction in my life right here as a single person, or I will not be satisfied even when he shows up.
Oh, let's talk about that, because you hit something.
Yes.
I wrote this out, because we talked about being prepared emotionally, physically, financially for the person that God would send. But how prepared, I'm going to put this personally, how prepared am I for the one that has been prepared for me?
For me, yes.
Because if my finances are all messed up, if my physical health is crazy, especially over 50, because then that's the time that everything starts breaking
changing.
Down. Stuff starts changing. And if we are not prepared to take care of ourselves, if we're not taking care of ourselves physically, financially, emotionally, then how are we going to bring somebody into that mess?
Absolutely, because we don't want them to bring that to us.
And look, it takes one whole person with another whole person to be one. I know if the math ain't math for y'all.
We got it.
But that is it.
But it's so true, though. It's so true. Deborah is so right, because the bottom line is, in all the arrow that we're pointing at somebody else, we got three fingers pointing back at me. So if I'm pointing the finger at you saying you need to have this, and this at the table, then these three is saying, well, okay, boo, do you have this, and this?
That's right.
So I may not have, listen, I have this friend of mine that tell me, he said, Renee, you are high hanging fruit. And I was like, ooh, I like that, right? He said, for real. He said, but listen, you may not have people get it twisted. Like the man may have this or much of this, right? And I got some of this to bring to the table, but it might not be this. It might be here. That doesn't make me disqualified. Right, it just makes me need to continue the walk and the preparation to continue to be better. But I think sometimes we sell ourselves short because we don't have what we think we should have to have what we want. I just think that it takes work. Yes, Deborah. Yes, I see you.
I ran across this quote that speaks exactly what you just said. Happiness is not having what you want, but happiness is wanting what you have.
That's right.
Woo, wait. Stop, rewind.
Yeah.
Okay, now replay. Repeat that.
Happiness is not having what you want, but happiness is wanting what you have.
What you have.
Yeah.
What I got right now. What's
right now
with me? When I look around and consider where I am, who I am, and what I have going on in my life, am I happy right there?
Yes.
And the answer for me right now is yes. I love
Yes.
who I am.
Yes.
I love the things that I get to do. I love the doors that God has opened for me, the opportunities to share with other people, the opportunity to actualize some of the dreams and visions that He's given me, man, to manifest those things. Look, I'm happy right now.
I am too. I tell you what, I know that this is a place that is very important because Deborah and I were talking about it, whether we get exactly what we would like to have, right? Or not. What am I doing in this space?
In the meantime.
In the meantime. And I'm not doing these things in the meantime in hopes of this being what I want it to be. Look, I've been single for 10 years. 10. Count it. 10. 10 years. And I have to tell you that in the 10-year span since my divorce, my life has gotten a whole lot better. I've done a whole lot more than I did when I was married. And I'm so grateful that I'm not sitting around waiting for someone to show up at my door and help me generate my life. I'm glad that life is happening just the way it needs to for me to live right now today. And whatever comes in the future, if something does come, then I will be already well versed in some areas of my own life that I can say, I don't like that.
Yes.
That's not something I want to, that's not something I want to accept in my life. You know, I can say that.
Yes.
That's important.
I would encourage all single women. And by the way, men, we are not male bashing at all. We are just simply sharing our testimonies in hopes that it can encourage someone else. But I agree, Miss Esther. I used to sit and wait, like, okay, Valentine's Day. Oh Lord, no date, no candy, no card, no nothing, and kind of sometimes get a little emotional. Some days, some Valentine's days, it didn't faze me. Some it was more emotional. I thought about it. I said, now, if you want to do all these things, go to these nice restaurants, concerts, to the symphony. What rule says you have to go with somebody else?
Look.
So are you going to miss out on life just because there is nobody else there with you? So I literally every birthday started taking myself out, and I just didn't have the time to get the pictures together. When I took myself to the fanciest, schmanciest restaurant, got all done. No, as a matter of fact, I'm sorry, I had my makeup done. Went to the restaurant, went to the symphony, and guess what? End up meeting the guest cellist.
Wow.
And took the picture, and that's one of the highlights of my birthdays. So I say that to say this: don't sit and be idle while you're waiting. Find something that you can do. Go with a group of girlfriends, or just be bold and brave enough. Go do it yourself. Be by yourself.
Let me tell you something, Kelly. I got divorced on Valentine's Day. And so when I decided the year after my divorce, like, what are we going to do for Valentine's Day? I don't want it to be ruined because I got divorced on that day. So I started, I put a note on Facebook and said, hey, look, it's going to be Valentine's Day. I'm taking myself to lunch. I'm going to Grand Lux. Is there anybody that would like to join me? And when I got there, it was like 20 some women there, Deborah. And we all brought a gift. The first person who showed up got my gift. And then we went on and on. So we've been doing that now for, I don't even know how many, but 10 years. I didn't do it for the last 2 years because of pandemic. And this year, I'm still contemplating on whether we're going to do it or not. But for at least 8 years, we had what we call the Sister Love Valentine's Day brunch. And we took ourselves to the brunch. Yes. And we brought each other gifts. And we would leave there just grinning and skinning and having we had a good time. I'm serious. So that's what I did as well. I didn't wait for someone to come. No one has come along yet to take me to lunch for Valentine's Day. So I've taken myself out for the last 8 years, I know, by myself, bought my own gift, bought my own candy and my flowers. Now, I said all that to say this. That is not how I would love for it to continue. But I do know
Absolutely.
how to celebrate me.
Yep.
That's good. That's good.
That's the key. You said celebrate you, because if you are afraid to celebrate you and go after the things that you want, what makes you think the person that God's going to bring, how is he going to know?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's just a conversation, ladies, that we have needed to have had a long time ago. Just first of all, I heard know your worth, your value, and I thought about something when you said that, Miss Deborah. I have never seen a Rolls-Royce commercial. Never. And I have never seen a Rolls-Royce even in a used car sales lot. Now, I'm just speaking for me. There may be. I have not seen a Rolls-Royce.
I know where you're going.
Exactly.
I feel it.
The point that I'm trying to say is Rolls-Royce knows its value.
Yes.
And they just don't, put their cars or allow their cars to be in any type of way that will detract or downplay its worth.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Kelly, we have one more question that we would like to talk about before we close. Deborah and I had talked about this, and I think it's important that we talk about it. How do we prepare if for some reason we never have that relationship to show up? What happens then? How do we feel about it happening or not happening? And I was telling Deborah how I remember not long ago, I was praying and thanking God for the preparation that he has placed me in to become the woman that I would like for some gentleman to meet, right? But I also said to him, however, if that is not your will, then would you please give me the power to live my singleness out in the way that you would see fit?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So I'm not banking on having a relationship. Would I like one? Absolutely.
Yes.
I would.
Yes.
But am I doing things with the hopes that this is what's going to generate in my life? No, but if it does, wonderful. But if it doesn't, I need to be okay with being single. And I know that's not a pill that everybody wants to swallow. I don't even want to swallow it. But I tell you what, I'm praying that God will give me the power to do that if that's what he has for me to do.
I like that because
yes,
when you really look at it, singlehood is not a state of lack.
That's right.
But an opportunity for abundance, to choose to be content in the present moment, whether single or married. It involves shifting focus from what you think you're missing or lacking to appreciating the blessings of the present.
Absolutely.
Gratitude cultivates a mindset of abundance, allowing for joy and fulfillment regardless of relationship status. And I think that needs to be where we are. Happiness is not, again, having what you want, but wanting what you have. And then sometimes you have to create that. You have to go get that. You have to build that.
Yeah, I agree. I do. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, yes, that's exactly what has to happen. Because the truth of the matter is, if I'm not happy in this space, right, and generating my happiness in this space, then if I ever get to the other space, it's still not going to be happiness because I don't know how to create it from the inside out rather than the outside in. I have to do it from the inside, because otherwise I'm depending on cars and houses and men and clothing and wigs and whatever to make me feel whole. But if I can do it from the inside out, none of that matters, because I can take this wig off and be bald-headed right now and be okay and have done it, right? So yes, my happiness is not dependent upon what comes to me. My happiness is about what I give out. When I'm of service, I can be happy.
Yes.
And exhibiting the woman that I believe God has created me to be generates happiness. You know why? Because then people can't, it's almost like God builds this shield. I'm not saying nobody puts their mouth on you or anything like that. I don't even care. You just come to a place where the peace of mind that you generate from the inside out is so much greater than anything on the outside of you, that even if you get disappointed without getting a job, disappointed without getting the whatever, you still all right.
You're still all right. Yes.
Once you get past your humanness, let's say that.
Yes.
You got to get past your humanness.
Emotions,
You might
Yeah.
shed a tear.
You might shed a tear too. Yeah. Because I'm emotional now. Let me tell you, I'm human and I do feel stuff. But once I can get past the humanness and like take a deep breath, and then I can say, okay, God, what we got to do now?
Yeah.
And the thing that you touched on the most, I think, Miss Esther, and what you just said, don't sit and wait.
Yeah.
Because the person that, if God is going to bring you to, unless you are able to tell him, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. Again, I think I mentioned it earlier. He's not going to know. So how are you going to know what you don't like?
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, there was Julia Roberts, I think it was, in a movie, and I want to say, was it Pretty Woman, where she had to go and figure. No,
oh,
it was
yeah.
one about the best friend's wedding or something like that. One of the movies.
Yeah.
He ordered eggs. It was The Runaway Bride.
Yes.
Because every groom that she ran away from, she only liked the eggs, the type of eggs prepared the way the groom liked. Oh. She never took the time to figure out what she liked. So take the time to figure out how you want your eggs prepared.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Whatever that might equate to.
Whatever that scrambled, poached, fried, you have to figure that out.
Yeah.
But that's going to come from the inside, knowing yourself. And then the other thing I heard is the joy and the peace and the contentment that you have on the inside has to be so strong that you press, like I said at the beginning, that D&D button, do not disturb.
Yeah.
You want to bring the drop? Nope. Do not disturb.
That's
you
it.
Want to bring upheaval and making me feel less than who I know that I am created to be. Do not disturb.
Yeah, not disturb.
That's good.
This is really good, because one of the things I think about often is we don't take time to process. We don't take time, and this is generally in our society, to sit down and contemplate things that have been done to us and how we feel about it and how we really want to respond and what things we need to correct. I did a discovery journal, a self-discovery journal during the pandemic, and there are 12 questions in the journal. And because we went through so much during that time, and people go through so much just in life in general that we don't write about or talk about or just process through, the questions give you space to write about. For instance, the first question in the journal is, who am I now? Now that I'm over 50 and still single.
That
who
part.
am I now? You know, now that he or she left, who am I now?
Yeah.
You know, after a breakup. And that one question can give you so much insight to what you're feeling, into what you may have done to be in this situation. You can explore what happened, what you could have said, how you could have, but ultimately it allows you to just pour out so that you can get to a new place and move forward, because that's the real deal. Being able to move forward from the things that we experience without carrying so much baggage. So the self-discovery journal is on my Facebook page. The link where you can purchase it is there. Deborah F. Bell on Facebook. you can go and purchase it at a discounted price on the website, the Self-Discovery Journal.
Wow, that's good, Deborah, because I was thinking about as you were speaking, when one of the self-discovery things I had to do, or I didn't even realize I was doing it, when I wrote my first book, What's Under Your Rug, and it's called Living a More Productive Life, right? But the only way I could live a more productive life was to be able to do some self-discovery to see what it is I was not doing and needed to change and do differently in order to become more productive. And so in that book, I get to talk about it. I didn't even want to write the book. It's God telling me to write this book. I'm like, well, if you want me to write this book, God, what you want me to say? And what's the title? And he said, What's Under Your Rug? And I was like, what's under your rug? Oh, Lord. So I started playing with it, right? And looking at what was a rug for. So listen, if you think about the rug of our lives, we sweeping things under the rug. And every time you step on it, the dust is just coming out on the sides, oozing out into people's lives. And then I started thinking, oh, Lord. So I said, well, how can I talk about this in a book? Well, God said, you're going to have to talk about you. No, wait, hold on. No, that ain't what I thought you was doing here. And I realized I couldn't talk about it unless I did some self-discovery, Deborah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
It's so needed in our culture right now because we are in a changing world. Nothing is like it used to be. And so we need spaces. We need to create spaces for ourselves where we can do more self-exploration to understand, so that we're not biting somebody's head off because we're chock full of stuff under our rug, or that we haven't done the self-discovery work. So absolutely that. So these are resources that you can take advantage of to help you as you're going through to just do that self-discovery work.
It's really important.
Getting to be your true, authentic self is work.
Yes.
Yeah, it's important. It is.
But it's worth it to do the work.
And it's not going to feel good like ice cream. And so if somebody waiting for it to feel good, then you're not going to do the work, because the work is difficult, but yet so rewarding, because what comes out of that is the ability. And I'm not saying it comes like immediately. It comes after you're revealing what's been revealed to you, and you try to do that thing again, and you like, whoa, I don't like the way I feel about that. But I won't know what I don't like the way I feel about something if I don't do the self-discovery to find out that I don't like that part of me. Right? So it's important. It's very important.
Well, Miss Esther and Miss Deborah, we have just a few more minutes, and I promise you, you will definitely hear. I'll post it on my Facebook. We have got to get connected with this powerful, because it's spelled POWHER, over 50 network, and have some type of event, networking, something that we can really sit and peel back the layers of these onions and ask these tough questions.
I love that idea, Kelly. You're going to be hearing more about it. I'm working with, I'm offering a free 3-day workshop for women right now. Well, I'll be posting it soon. I just posted, look out for this message on my Facebook page. But it's all about understanding purpose and how to live in your purpose. And I think this should be a part of that conversation as well. Because once you understand who you are, what you have, and you already know it, you're living it, you just haven't pinpointed it specifically or named it
and activated it.
And activated. But once you do that, you recognize that you have experiences, skill, expertise that you can move forward in your life with, to live the life that you really want, the life of your dreams. And that's what the 3-day workshop is focused on, helping you understand what you have to live the life of your dream. I coined a acronym MOVE. It's about motivating yourself. It's about owning your experience and your expertise. Stop discounting what you have, and then valuing what you have. Make that you value it. And then educate others. That's where you can monetize what you do.
Yes.
So that's what 3-day workshop is about, to help you move forward.
You know what, Deborah? It's amazing you said that, because we were just talking earlier, Kelly and I, how we believe that sometimes people have stopped teaching. And so the wisdoms that we may have gotten as we were growing up or as young teens or whatever, we may not have got everything, but we did get some wisdom. And so I believe that what you're talking about in educating others is about me. I looked forward to becoming an older woman, because I want to give back to a younger person what was given to me or what I've learned. And so every year for my birthday, I write day number, whatever, before my birthday, wisdom number, whatever. This is what I learned in my year of 63, right? I'm 64. So in my year of 63, I did this. So in 64, I'm gaining wisdom to pass on to somebody else. People look at my Facebook, well, she sure is celebrating her birthday. But the truth is, no, I want to give some wisdom about what I've learned in my 64 years of living.
We can't keep it all to ourselves.
No, and I don't even
absolutely.
And there's so many free platforms to be able to do that, like you're doing, as on your Facebook page. Even me offering this free 3-day workshop.
Yes.
Somebody moving in other new and exciting directions in their lives to really live out the life that God has given them.
Absolutely. Wow.
Well, Miss Esther, close out on this question. I'll direct to you, and then Miss Deborah, you can answer. What, since we're talking about it, if you could go back to your younger self,
oh Lord,
where I call it my stupid years, crazy years, younger years, what advice would you give to yourself?
I would give the advice to my younger me this one word: breathe.
Okay.
I would give myself the ability to breathe, because I think that I was so hyperventilating through my younger life, trying to match up, trying to level up, trying to be what I thought everybody thought I was supposed to be, trying to that I wasn't breathing.
Yes.
So I don't want to say I lost. I discounted a lot of time by not breathing and taking time to allow God to breathe into me to see what it is that He had given me to do. And so that's what I would tell my younger self: just breathe, girl. God's got you, and He's going to guide your footsteps if you let Him. So that's what I would do.
All right. And Miss Deborah?
So for me,
what would you give? What
I
advice
experienced a lot of loss at an early age. And I think that takes a toll on your self-esteem and who you are. My mother died when I was 6. A close cousin of mine died from sickle cell when she was 17 before graduating from high school. I mean, just so much loss. And moving from one house to another, and just, it took a hit on my self-esteem. And so I guess my message to my younger self was, you are enough just like you are.
That's good.
Because we're going to grow. But I hid for so many years. I didn't want to be seen. I wanted to be in the background. I didn't. And even then, I had gifts, abilities, and talents. I could speak at a young age, and so I did in church. I was able to write. And so don't discount those things, but know that you are good enough right where you are, and you're going to grow.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
so,
good,
so breathe, and you are good enough.
Yes.
Wow. Ladies, I tell you, now, for those of you all that were eavesdropping, do you see why they are back for part 2? This has been rich and much needed.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kelly.
Absolutely. So to those who are getting ready to start looking at the Valentine's Day commercials and all those teddy bears and the flowers and all of that, and then you go, oh, well, where's mine?
Go buy you one, girl.
That's right.
I'm sorry.
You were just saying what I was going to say. I love it. Absolutely. Where is the rule that says you can?
Right.
And then guess what? You'll know what type of flower you like. what type of candy you like.
That's right.
And
what your teddy bear would look like.
there you go. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So again, don't sit around and just let this holiday coming up be one of those, oh, woe is me. No, you make it be, I'm going to change me.
Yes.
I'm going to encourage me. I'm going to be a better me, no matter what has happened in the past. We didn't even talk about this little topic of moving past the pain. When you're hurting and you're broken from a painful relationship, how do you move past that so that you don't block the blessing that God's going to bring to you?
And I really think the answer, Kelly, was what we talked about when we talked about doing the work of self-discovery.
Yes.
But you understanding who you are really helps you come out of that self depreciation place to understand that there's more to life. And that happened, but that's not the end of the world. God has so much more in store.
Absolutely.
I want to just make sure that everybody knows, if you want to have Valentine's Day lunch with me and some of my friends, just hit us up on Facebook and know that you are invited. All we ask is that you bring a gift that you would want. And then and we give the person that comes behind you gets your gift. So we are going to do that. If you would love to go, I'd love to hear how many people would like to attend something like that, so I can start looking at a place. I have something in mind, but I want to see if it's enough room. I think it's going to be an amazing, amazing time for women and men, because this is not just about women. I think that men are sometimes struggling with the same things. They just don't say it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, ladies, again, this has been awesome. Miss Esther, tell us and the viewers, if they wanted to contact you. Actually, I know you talked about the Valentine's event. Do you have any other events coming up? Or
right now, my focus is just the Valentine's Day event. Because that's upcoming really fast. And so the only other thing that I would like to start looking at is something that we can do on a platform where we have another conversation like this. I think Deborah and I have talked about doing another event where we invite women to join us. And actually, we don't want to just say women. We want it to be anyone over 60 that is willing to talk about where they are, or at least be open to
talk about
some things that are going to be talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a few months ago, I did a in my Powerful Over 50 a brunch.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll be doing some more of those kinds of things, and maybe by the end of the year or next year, a retreat.
Yeah.
So Kelly, stuff is coming. We're gonna put it out.
Okay.
And just because I know that some of your audience may be ministers, I'm starting a fundamentals of sermon preparation course online that starts January 30th. You can go to my Facebook page and you'll see details. But if you want to go to the link, it's bit.ly/prep for sermons.
Mm-hmm.
So that is also going on. There's still seats available. I'm excited to be doing this for the second time, but helping those who are declarers of the word with research and preparation tools so that we are
prepared
in our communication.
Amen.
And when we get off, can you post that in the comment section?
I sure will.
So that everybody can get
in the comments. Okay.
Yes. Well, again, ladies, I have thoroughly enjoyed our time this afternoon. Thank you all so much, because I know Miss Deborah just came back from Jamaica.
Yes.
And had a wonderful time.
Yes, I did.
Yep, I was while she was in the sun, I was in the snow in Philly, having a wonderful time.
Are you from Philly?
No, I was just there speaking at a convention.
Oh, at a convention. Oh, okay. Because I was going to say I was born and raised in Erie.
Oh boy.
Oh.
So I know what that weather is like.
Yes, it was cold.
I can imagine. But again, ladies, this has been awesome. And we will definitely coordinate, we'll not wait till next year.
Okay.
Once a year, we're going to coordinate something to where we had some other, topics that we wanted to explore, but maybe Absolutely. This, where God wants us to stop for now. But I also encourage you, if you are struggling in your single state, meaning you may just have some questions like, well, you went through your divorce. How did you navigate through that? How do you navigate through these dating streets at 50? So
My goodness.
Different. We talked about that in the green room. It's a little different than, when you're 15 and 20 and, 30. But reach out to Miss Deborah or Miss Esther or myself.
Absolutely.
Reach out via messenger if you want it to be confidential, and we will definitely be glad to encourage you, pray with you as well. And so don't forget, like, comment, and share and subscribe. We have some awesome guests coming up and awesome topics coming up really, really, really soon. So I want to see you all eavesdropping in on the next conversation. And again, thank you. Special thanks to Miss Esther and Miss Deborah. You all hold on in the green room. Yes. And until next time, you all be blessed. And I love you. There's nothing you can do about it. God bless until next time.